Welcome, everyone. My name is Manish Shah, and I'm Professor of Management at the Lake Forest Graduate School. Let me introduce today's speaker. He has a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. He has several years' experience working in cement and petrochemical industry. From early childhood, he had an inclination to be a celibate. He received self-realization through the grace of self-realized holistic scientist, 1983. Since then, he has pursued his dream to work selflessly to spread the message of holistic science for the upliftment of the entire humankind. Entire life to studying holistic science and visiting rural areas and cities in India, USA, UK, Canada, UK, Europe, Africa, Australia, and New Zealand to spread the scientific understanding of life through holistic science. Welcome, Deepakanadji.
Thank you for the introduction, and we will go ahead with our talk.
Sure. So continuing with our theme of happiness, Anandji, to address how do we adjust everywhere to bring happiness in our life. So let me start with the first question. Why is adjusting everywhere important? And how is it connected to happiness?
Yeah, first of all, we will try to understand adjust everywhere is not just a phrase, but it is the life what the holistic science and scientists have lived all his life. That is why he considers adjust everywhere as the underlying science to achieve happiness in every aspect of our life and living. And that is why an English phrase, but a whole lot of science is embedded, and we will try to reveal and open so helpful in our day-to-day living in every aspect of our life. So as it is revealed by the scientist, there is no individual who is responsible for anything that is happening. He has revealed about our free will and destiny. So whatever we come across in our life is part of our destiny. To face and handle our destiny in such a way that it doesn't hurt us, it doesn't hurt the other person. At the same time, we get the benefit of living in the present in such a way that we handle our destiny, what it means, what mistake that was committed previously, due to which I am facing that situation today as a result of that previous mistake. But today I learn to handle through adjust everywhere such that I be happy at the same time through my dealing with the help of adjust everywhere principle and science, I don't hurt the other person. And in the bargain, I free myself from the I have incurred a loss as a debt previous interaction. So that's how adjust everywhere helps me maintain my happiness, regain my happiness. At the same time, others are also happy living and dealing with me.
So we talk about adjusting with others. How does one adjust with oneself? Because we live with our own selves day in and day out. So what is your suggestion there?
Yeah, that is also a wonderful thing. The way you deal with others, you have to deal with yourself also. Now, when we consider ourselves and dealing with ourselves, we are basically dealing with our mind, with our intellect, with our ego. Once we have known, understood, and learned to handle our own mind, our own intellect, that is my own intellect, my mind, and my ego, then I can handle anybody's mind, intellect, and ego. Trying to deal with my own self through adjust everywhere, what it means, my mind, which is nothing but bunch of what I have gathered previously out of my life's experience, whenever I come across any situation today, all those opinions, they just pop up, fountain of water. And immediately what follows is my reflective consciousness try to see the tangible picture of the situation in which the intellect intervenes and help me evaluate and make. So I learn, first of all, the moment opinion as in the form of thought, it sprouts, I immediately come to know where it is going to lead me. I see from my understanding today that this mind, which is showing me thing as per my previous opinion, but my opinion and understanding today is different from what it is showing me. So, like the other person is at fault, he has committed or she has committed a mistake. Then, through my understanding today, I intervene and don't accept that judgment. I say, you may say that he is at fault, she is at fault, but as per my understanding, the person is not at fault. The person is innocent. The person is only an instrument for me, this phase of my life, as a result of my previous mistake. So the other person is only an instrument, a delivery man, a postman. He's not the sole that happens to me. But because it is connected with me, there is some relevance, and that is how I come to know that it is my fault. The other person is just a delivery person. So with this adjust everywhere, I adjust my understanding such, with the help of the underlying science, I console myself, I comfort myself, I don't have any argument. So the judgment which is passed or which is shown by the intellect that the other person is at fault, I revert that. So, although on its face value, I am about to fight with the other person, but with this understanding, dealing with my own self, I cool down myself, seeing the other person innocent. So all my negative reactions, violent reactions, they don't show up and they also cool down.
No, that makes perfect perfect sense. Deepakanadji, there is a question of, at work or even at home, we are talking about dealing with several generations. So, as a parent, I'm dealing with my children. So I'm dealing with my parents. At work,
Right.
you're dealing with millennials and then people of your age and people who are older with you. And of course, there are those generational differences. So how do you deal with those differences and try and adjust with people from different generations?
Now we will try to give an example that, see, in America, in everywhere in the world, we are always on the road. We are moving. We come across different roads, different highways. Something or the other is going on. Some work is going on, so you have detour. You have those speed limits. We follow instructions that, okay, I'm in hurry, I cannot break those limits. I adjust myself. Why do I adjust? I know that if I don't adjust, then I will end up getting caught by the police or by the camera, and then I will be further delayed. Uh, Understanding lies in the fact that I follow those limits. So that is where I adjust myself. The way I adjust everywhere on the road, whatever limits I follow, that's how I reach my destination. All these individuals whom we come across, friends, relatives, family, people at home, at work, everyone. So we are dealing with that living individual which is supported or who is supported by the nature, and that's how that individual is surviving. So who am I that individual? And if I come across that individual and I end up dealing with that person, then I should deal in such a way that they don't get hurt. So on its face value, I say, whatever happens, I will adjust because I don't want to hurt. If I end up hurting anyone, through the principle what goes around comes around, as it is, I should ensure today that I don't hurt anyone because I don't want to get hurt. Although my destiny may be other way around. So I have to face my destiny, but my inner intention of adjusting with the other person eventually help me adjust with the other person, accept the other person. Now I end up dealing with that person in a very amicable way. And when I have not hurt the other person, what I get in return is also no hurting, no suffering. So that's how I also be happy and the other person also is happy. My inner decision to adjust itself helped me change my thinking, change my dealing, change my verbal expressions. It naturally gets changed. So it's like if I have decided I'm not going to change no matter what, I will fix the other person. I will see that the other person follow me. No, by doing that thing, I'm going to hurt the other person. And in that, in return, I'm going to get hurt. So that's how my inner intention, my inner decision to adjust help me deal with the other person such a way that they are not hurt.
So one last question before we bring in the audience for the questions. Following up from what you just said, your inner intent helps you navigate these situations effectively.
Right.
So what should you do on a daily basis, Deepakanadji, so that this inner intent of not hurting others and adjusting everywhere remains strong?
So basically, we will try to take a few examples like, see, whenever we deal with any glassware, anything made of glass, are we not very careful dealing with that glass, whatever it is, but basically we take care so that, because once anything breaks, I cannot bring it back. All relations are like glassware, and we should learn to handle these relations such that they don't get hurt, they don't break. And once they break, you cannot fix them again. So that's how you help yourself with this principle, that all these relations, especially at home, we have to learn to handle them very carefully. Second thing, individual, due to my previous debt, due to my previous mistake. So I come across any situation, any individual, it gives me an opportunity to fix that mistake which was committed previously. So why I should adjust? Because if I don't adjust, mistake that was committed will go further. And further down in my life, I'm going to come across the same situation. So what it means, previously a mistake was committed and someone has become practically my enemy. So I should resolve and take care such that no one is hurt. And I see that there is no more enemy in my life.
Makes sense. So with that, Deepakanadji, we are going to have our first question from the audience. Please go ahead.
Oh, sure. Yes, definitely.
Deepakanadji, I wanted to ask you that.
Louder, please.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes.
Maybe that was a problem. So, adjust everywhere. We've been talking about not hurting anybody. We've been talking about trying to avoid clashes, trying to see that the fault is not the other person, but the fault is mine. But what is the central theme when you say adjust everywhere? What exactly does adjust mean? And the second thing is that sometimes there are situations where there is some demands or expectation that you behave in a certain way or do certain things in a certain way, either at job or at home, and you feel like that is not the right thing to do. So how do you apply adjust everywhere to those situations? Does it mean that you do things the way you're expected to, or sometimes when you find you cannot, then how does this principle help you?
Yeah, number one, whenever we come across any individual, then there is a factor of account, there is a give and take, and due to which you have to deal with that person. At times we feel that they are not balanced in their dealing, but what they are demanding, we don't just let ourselves to them, but slowly and tactfully we handle, adjust, and agree to what they demand. Not like if they ask and you just accept it. So just dramatize the whole situation and see that they are happy. Now, why do we have to do that? Reason is that whatever they are demanding, exchange of our relation is nothing. In the sense that if the enmity, if the difference remains, they will bother us again in future. So if our relation survives by parting with something which is not very important that way, relation, there is nothing you can compare with relation. So if it comes to money, etc., whatever things or like that, then we should weigh ourselves that what is important, my relation or that thing what the person is demanding. Then you will definitely come to that conclusion that is demanding is not very important. But if that relation survives and the person is happy, is not hurt, I will free myself from that previous enmity. And as I free myself from such enmity, I cannot free myself. So the central goal or theme of Adjust Everywhere is every relation, but this is for our inner understanding. The foundation of any relation is enmity only, because they come and demand, they come and really know all that. So the only way to settle that account is through whatever way they are happy. So they just ourselves forcing that, then your relation would get into a problem that. So on its apparently it may appear that you you are made a laughing stock or like someone is fooling you around, but no, you are doing this knowingly, free yourself from your account, from your debt. Does that clarify?
To some extent, but again, when the apparent, when you feel that this is something that you cannot do, then how do you apply this principle to get yourself to be free?
You try to explain them, you try to give a justification. Till if the person don't agree, then maneuver in such a way that you agree to that and finish the matter. Because if you don't settle with the individual, then they will create problem in the future. Problem to come again in the future. So it is like in their vision, in their belief, identified as not a smart guy. It's like they have made fool of you. But in their vision, in their judgment, you will not be at fault by not helping them. Do you understand that?
Say that
In
one more
their
time.
in their in
The
their
last
in their belief, in their judge you as a person at fault, but they will judge you as a fool. So like, and he could be fooled easily. But no, we are doing this knowingly. We want to free ourselves from their debt.
Okay.
Does that answer you?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Our next question. Go ahead, please, and introduce yourself, your name, and where you're from. Thanks. You need to unmute yourself.
Yeah, Deepakanadji, एक आप्त सूत्र मैं बुक में कहीं वांची थू.
It got to be in English. It got to be in English.
But there is one Apta Sutra I read in a book. Like I want to understand that. It is a similar topic. આ દેહ છે તે દેહ એનું એડજસ્ટમેન્ટ લઈને આવ્યો છે.
Okay.
એટલે I want to understand
what it means. Yeah. Is that all?
Because yeah, that's all. But in that adjustment, it is already come along with that. Then what we should do, like
what it means, our body doesn't have any choice of its own, but inherently it is of adjustable nature. What it means through this revelation that the body has come naturally with its own adjustment, but we as the living individual in the body do not accept and don't want to adjust, don't want to part with, don't want to give up. And that's why we stick on to our belief, stick on to our way of dealing, and that's why we end up in a problem. By its very nature is adjustable in nature, very adjustable. There's no problem. Okay. So
Yeah,
when we decide, yeah.
So it is already, it brings it, the body brings its adjustment itself. Then what type of adjustment I should do? Like
so it's like what it means. Gold by its very quality is malleable. Cannot work of its own.
Okay.
What it means, you need the body to be operated. The body cannot work of its own unless you decide. The living individual inside must decide. And only when he decides, the body will work. So what it means, body by its very nature, it will adjust. Decide not to adjust, that's why body doesn't respond to that situation. So it behaves in an adamant way. You understand?
Oh, yeah.
That's a wonderful thing. Body by its very nature is, it will adjust. But we are not willing to adjust, that's why body is not adjusting. So it is not the problem with the body, but it is the problem with yourself, with us.
Yeah, yeah, we have to observe, right, the whatever happening.
So it is like by its very nature, body will adjust. But if you decide not to adjust, the body will not adjust. So it is not problem with the body, but it is problem with us. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
That's a wonderful thing. Yes.
Okay. Let's move on to the next question from our audience. Priyanka Ben, you're next. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, where you're from.
Okay. Okay. My name is Priyanka. I am from Bahrain. Actually from Mumbai, but currently in Bahrain. So my question is, like, as there was a question before, and I got a question from that when we in particular situation, regarding that someone is expecting from us how our behavior should be, or anything such situation, sometimes it goes to an extent where it impacts to our health or mind or whatever. So adjusting so many situations together. So how should we tackle those situations? Like there's simultaneously so many people, so many situations together to be handled.
Okay, come again, because we lost the connection.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I'll come again. My question is that that if in particular situation any person is having some expectation from us regarding a behavior, that my behavior should be like this, so that person becomes happy. So what we do is we try to adjust and we try to behave in that manner only, so that everyone becomes happy. But at the same time, we cannot make everyone happy, so in that some other person will be hurted. And in balancing such a situation, it becomes at the end I'll be very frustrated, or my body or my health will be impacted. So how do I like adjust in this situation?
Okay, in connection with what was previously, our body is adjustable in nature.
Okay.
So the problem is not with the body. So it is like the body is not incapable of adjustment. It is capable of adjustment. But we, the living entity in our body, have all these limitations. And due to those limitations, they show up, it get exhibited in different relations. So finally, it means debt with different people. So we will call them as relations. So if you decide that I will adjust with everyone, then the body will naturally. But you say that I will adjust with these limitations only, the body becomes limited. Do you understand?
No, but I think so. I initiated the task of adjusting by this thought process only, that I will try and maintain to adjust everything together. But like gradually in a time span, at the end I was impacted, and then I realized that while adjusting all this stuff, actually I have not taken care of myself in between all this stuff. So I don't know. I have not any thought process. I did not had any previous thought process that I won't be able to adjust or whatever it is. But eventually it happened. So after that, I got this question.
See, one thing again, we go back to the same contention. Scientists that the body, by its very nature, is adjustable. But it is because of our limitations only that is our ifs and buts don't allow us to adjust. That is why it is like we have decided our limit that I will adjust so many times. I will adjust this way only, not with this. And due to which, when that threshold is reached, you will fail to adjust. And that's how the body gets impacted. Do you understand?
Okay. Yeah, I got that. Maybe.
We are limiting ourselves. Body has unlimited adjustment.
Yeah, but maybe we don't have the practice of doing so.
I will just give you an example of a very physical adjustment what a body can take. A guy which was like 6.5 feet, he enclosed himself into a box which was like 18 by 18 inches.
Okay.
And you can see that video. It had come in one of the YouTube videos. Now, if that is the physical ability of the body, because if someone can do it, everyone can do it. You understand? What it needs is practice and all that stuff. So it is like if you are willing to do, it will happen. But we are not willing to adjust, and that's why our mind become rigid, our thinking become rigid, so our body also become rigid. You understand?
Yeah, maybe there are two minds going on. That one is saying we'll be adjusting, and the other one is saying, oh, I'm getting impacted, oh,
Yes,
I'm
with
getting this
limitations.
problem and everything. Yeah. So because
With
if
limitation.
if there any situation wherein we get impacted, so the another mind starts saying that, see, this is how it happens when you try to adjust everyone, then you forget yourself only. So things have happened. Just being in India for a month, so I can tell you the situation.
No, not only that, we have to realize that it is not our body and their body. The bodies are same. They are not different. By its very nature, they are same. But we always see the outside features and believe that they are separate, they are different.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
true.
so when the understanding opens up through this holistic vision, then that first thing, your willingness will be there, and that willingness will eventually show up in all your dealings. So body
Yeah.
will not be any hindrance dealing in any kind of adjustment.
Yeah, by your this explanation, I got to remember one of the baddest situation wherein I adjusted very nicely. And yeah, that time the thinking was a bit different, and it was the very worst scenario, but I was able to come out of it. So yeah, I have
That's very
to
good.
practice this a
So
lot.
we have to recall our own achievement and take that strength that if you could do this, you can very well do this. Come on, we will do it. I will help you do that.
Right. That's true. Thank you, Deepakanadji.
Okay, our next question comes from Avni. Avni, go ahead, please introduce yourself and tell us where you're from.
Okay, hello. My name is Avani Desai. I'm from Houston, Texas, and I am a pharmacist. However, right now I'm currently a stay-at-home mom. I want to thank you for this satsang, Deepakanadji. It's been really, really very nice to be hearing about adjusting everywhere. I think this principle has helped me a lot to deal with my married life. Now, my question comes to you in terms of expectations. Sometimes I find myself with conflicted expectations from various family members, especially when you're living with a huge family. How do you adjust to conflicting expectations? Let's say you have one member of the family that expects something from you, whereas another completely expects the opposite, and maybe they're even in conflict. How do you adjust in that type of situation?
So again, we come out with that first important thing, your willingness. Your willingness is very important, and you will see that eventually you are able to fulfill everybody's expectation. However conflicting or however opposite they are, but the flexibility of our body is such a wonderful thing. It's a matter of our firm decision only. So once decided, it has to happen, because whatever is happening now is result of our previous decision only. So limitations in that decision is bringing those limitations here now. And when you open up and be open with your decision that no matter what, I will adjust with everyone. So that itself will give you all those inspirations, ideas, what you need to adjust yourself.
Yes.
And one thing is that when you deal with anyone, you are dealing with, although the person looks like an individual, but it is, you are dealing with the ego only. And if you keep your ego down, then you will not be dealing with anyone. So there should be an aspect of humility dealing with everyone. And that is very important. Although they may appear younger than you by age, but still ego could be high-headed, which is very much possible. So if you have learned to handle anybody's ego, then there is no problem. You have learned to deal with the person.
That makes wonderful sense. Thank you so much. I think understanding the ego aspect of it and my own, being very cognizant of that, I think that will help me in dealing with both of those relations that are conflicting.
One of the things is that which the holistic science has revealed, although we look, we feel and believe that other person is different from me, but when I understand and accept that although the other person is a separate entity, apparently he or she looks like a different person, but it's me only. I am coming in front of me to deal with my own self. So how wonderful we feel and how happy we feel when we have to deal with ourselves. Same way, when we end up dealing with others as if I'm dealing with myself, that is a wonderful adjustment which could take place when this vision of holistic science really works in its full capacity. And then you have no problem. Absolutely no problem. And typically, you can experience as mother that whatever your kid's demand is there, your child demand is there. Although the baby is not demanding that way, but you understand it for her. I think so, you have a baby girl, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's how you are able to understand her requirement and you are able to fulfill her requirement, because there is a factor of oneness with your baby, which is not there with others. So all in those relations you have ifs and buts. Why should I do it? This is not fair. This is unfair. And all those you can never answer. You never see, or none of these questions pop up when you have to deal with your baby.
Very
And that's
true.
why you have absolutely no problem dealing with her, handling her, however tricky her situation is, however tricky the demand is.
That is so very true. You hit the nail on
Yes, yes,
the target.
yes, yes. Correct.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
The next question from the audience. Kaushal, please go ahead.
Hello, Deepakanadji. My name is Kaushal. I'm from Chicago, and I'm an IT architect. My question is that when you try to adjust with all the people, how do you maintain a balance? Because every time there's some situation where you adjust yourself to one situation, someone else feels bad in the same situation, but you don't want to hurt both of them together. Or
This
you
is
don't
very
hurt any of
common.
them.
This is very common dealing with people together. So it's like your mom, and at the same time your wife is also there, and she with her like that. But with that dealing, she was happy. And the way you deal with your wife, your mom question you, why did you deal with your wife like that? But with that dealing, your wife was happy with you. Do you understand that?
Yes.
So you have to tell that if I deal with you and you are not happy, you have the right to question that. But the way I deal with my relations, and if they are happy, what is your problem? Do you understand?
Yes.
Because your mother cannot expect you to deal in a particular way with your wife, with which she won't be happy. And you know very well that if you deal with in a particular way, she'll be happy. But with that dealing, your mom will not be happy. So you can tell her very clearly that if I hurt your feelings, then I'm responsible. But I have to take care. You both share my heart 50-50. In fact, you share my heart 100%. So I don't want to make anyone unhappy. So please bear with me. So they say, okay, pardon. So when you say that you share 100%, then they will not question. But 50-50, they can question. So finally, a wonderful principle again gets revealed over here of holistic science and amicable and harmonious living. Finally, you deal with everyone with 100% heart. It's how you live with one heart with everyone. And living with one heart with everyone is living with oneness with everyone. You don't have any action with anyone. 100%. But that is our goal. Finally, we are going to achieve that true adjust everywhere. This is the final or the extent of which adjust everywhere is going to help us be one with everyone. Okay.
Yes. This really helps.
So we have time for one last question from the audience. Please go ahead.
Good evening.
I have one more question from Mrs. Desai from Texas, Houston, which I can take afterwards. Okay, shall I go now?
Yeah, go ahead.
She says, stubborn habit comes in between. If I want to adjust everywhere, but my stubbornness or my stubborn habit is in its way. So how to deal with it? So now let's see. You adjust, but your stubbornness is coming in the way. So if the stubbornness wins in this matter, then definitely you will face the consequences of your stubbornness. So then you will definitely have the experience that my stubbornness has hurt me, my stubbornness has hurt the other person. So my business was not on the profit side. I was a loser. So sticking on to my stubbornness has not helped anyone because my debt, which I am supposed to pay back, remains pending. And that's not the life business which I would like to do. So I will definitely try to stick on to adjust everywhere. Although my stubbornness will keep bothering me from inside, I will not let it come in my way of adjustment with the other person. And of course, habit can also come in the way, but although people say that habit is hard, but the holistic science is such a wonderful science of life and living. All the habit can come in anybody's way of adjust everywhere. But when that which becomes our nature, then that can create a problem. So don't let that habit become your nature. Let that habit remain as a habit. And it should bother you, it should not bother anyone else. So habit will not have any kind of insistence. I hope, Mrs. Desai, you got your answer. Yeah, she's happy with it.
All right. Go ahead, please. The last question.
Yeah, this is Roshan Khan Patel from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm a retired executive from Westinghouse Electric Company, and I'm writing books for children. And you talked about wonderful things on Adjust Everywhere, and we have given some good examples. Earlier in the talk, you said that mistakes committed previously. So if you can understand that, maybe that might be a good thing how we can adjust ourselves. So please elaborate what you meant by mistake committed previously.
So it is like I get the result of my exam and I don't get good grades. What does that mean? Exam. So what should be my action plan now? From the result, I come to know that I did not prepare well. So I now better have a good timetable, focus myself, and then see that I will have to perform. No excuses. I have to perform, no excuses. So I decide I have to perform, come what may. So then with that firmness in my decision and clarity in my decision, I will be able to plan my life activity in such a way that I will eventually succeed. So those mistakes will be definitely overcome, and definitely when mistakes are overcome, it's going to reflect in my better results.
Okay, so with this understanding, I think earlier you also said that the other person is an instrument. So I think once you understand this, then you can easily understand that the other person is an instrument.
Exactly, because I did not perform, due to which the instrument could be the teacher, the principal, whatever the individual are there, who are party to deliver my things what I had done previously. So they are only delivering what I had done.
Yes.
They are not doing. They are just mere instrument. And that's how, with that understanding, I don't have any hard feelings towards anyone. So I focus on myself, on my mistakes, and when I correct my mistake, then what reflection I see outside will be perfect. That's why the world is your own reflection. World is echo of your doing. Okay.
Yeah, that really helps it, because also previously, we are alluded to egos. So with this understanding, we can subside our ego in the dealings with others, right?
Ego means I am separate, I am better than others. But when I see others also as me, even you have said that not I, we, then there's no problem. There's no problem. Able to deal with the other person amicably, nicely, positively, with total adjustment, there's no problem.
Okay, thank you very much. It's a good understanding.
So this concludes today's talk on Adjust Everywhere and how it can lead to happiness. Deepakanadji, thank you for expounding on the truths of holistic science. It was an enlightening discussion, some really excellent questions from the audience on how can adjust with our own self, with others, how can we deal with generational differences, create an intent so that our body adjusts to any or all situations. So we'll continue this discussion next month, the third Sunday of next month at 10 o'clock Central Time, which is 9:30 Indian Standard Time. And if you need more information about holistic science, you can visit our website at hscrf.org. We'll see you next month. Thank you, everyone, and good night.